Today we're going to be talking about the Seattle Seahawks, you can see by my shirt. Yeah, boy. The Seahawks season starts this Sunday, so I have to get my preview video out now just to, yeah. Got my hair cut for the season, as you can see, nice and trimmed. There we go. I always get a haircut before season starts. It's something I did back in high school. I still do it today. So ceremonial haircut given. I will not get my haircut again until the Seahawks season is over, so I really hope I'm not getting a haircut till February. I'm really looking forward to this season. I'm just so excited to watch football. The Patriots-Chiefs game was on Thursday this week, and that game kicked ass. And nothing excites me more than Tom Brady getting embarrassed in his own house. So that was really fun. That was a great kickoff to the season. So without further ado, we're going to preview the Seahawks season. I'm going to talk about how I think they'll do. I'll talk about each position group. I'm going to talk about the state of the offense and the state of the defense. And then we're just going to, I'm going to have some free-floating ideas out there, just giving you my thoughts and my expectations of the Seahawks going into this season. So this is just meant to have fun. If you're not a Seahawks or sports fan, you're not really into this video, then I have other videos for you. They're probably in the sides somewhere here. So go look at those. If you want to see my recap of last season, the 2016 season, you can just click that. That's probably going to be somewhere on my channel. Yeah, so I'm really organized and great about this. This is just some fun thing I like to do, so let's get to it. Let's just preview the Seahawks 2017 season. Guys, I'm excited. So to start this all off, I want to talk about the offense. And when talking about the offense, we have to go where it all begins with every football team, the quarterback. And the Seahawks have a goddamn nice quarterback. They have, if you don't know him, Russell, last name Wilson. Russell Wilson is amazing, and last year he was injured for nearly all of it. They stepped on his fucking ankle in the first game, hobbled around. Amazing that he actually still played every other game, even after he then got an MCL sprain against the Niners last year. So he had injuries in both of his legs, and he's a dual threat quarterback, which means he is a runner, he's a thrower, he's an all-around quarterback, right? And a big key to him is his athleticism, and he didn't have that last year for almost the entirety of last season. And you know what? He still kicked ass. So I'm looking forward to a great year by Russell. Russell has set efficiency records throughout his career. He is efficient, he is deadly, his deep ball is incredible, especially if he has a back leg to throw off of. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more play-action plays with him. He is just an exciting player, and something that we Seahawks fans really have to enjoy, because you never know what that next quarterback's gonna be. You only get so many years of an elite quarterback, and I'm just enjoying his prime right now. Behind him, we have the backup quarterback, Austin Davis, who is a journeyman. He has been around the NFL multiple times. He's beat the Seahawks before when playing for the Rams, but that's the Rams, so who really knows how much stock to put in that? The Rams always have this way of beating the Seahawks. It makes no sense, but you know what? They don't have Jeff Fisher anymore, so we'll get to that when I talk about expectations for games, but you know what? We'll move on now. So let's talk about wide receiver. Wide receiver is a position that, for the Seahawks in the past, I don't think people ever really saw it as a strength, but there really is a lot of really talented wide receivers here. We have Doug Baldwin, who runs some of the crispest routes you can see. He has an amazing ability to run routes. He jukes people like crazy. He makes so many people miss. He's elusive and he's terrifying, and I love him. I love Doug Baldwin. He's the key part of the wide receiving core. But besides Doug Baldwin, we have Tyler Lockett, who's a fast man. He is a deadly punt returner and a lethal kick returner. He has got wheels for days, so I am really excited to see him back from his injury. He also has a really great chemistry with Russell, so I'm really excited to see him back in the offense. Haven't seen him at all in the preseason, so who really knows how long it's going to take for him to get up to snuff, but you know what? I have faith in him. He's got this way about him that if he can just stay healthy, then I think he's going to have great numbers. We also have Paul Richardson, who's made a lot of crazy catches in the past few years. I mean, the dude has made plays that I just don't know how you make them, but he has also had a problem with injuries. Even in the only preseason game we saw him in, he got injured, so also we have Tanner McAvoy, who is in his second year. He made some really good plays last year. He wasn't a star player, but you know what? He made some good plays. He shows a lot of promise, and he's good in special teams. And last but not least, Darbo Amara, who was a third-round pick in this year's draft. Haven't seen a whole lot from him in preseason. I hear a lot of Seahawks fans going this way or that way on him, saying, oh, should we have kept him? Mike Williams has been better. What do we do here? What do we do there? I don't really know. We'll see how it goes. He's a rookie, so only time can tell. Rookies are wild cards. So let's talk about the running backs now. In the running back room, we got Eddie Lacy, Thomas Rawls, CJ Prosise, Chris Carson, and JD McKisnick. Now with these running backs, I expect to see a lot of shared time. I don't know who's going to be the real bell cow running back. I think it also depends a lot on health because Thomas Rawls, CJ Prosise, and Eddie Lacy have all had history of injuries. Chris Carson looked amazing in the preseason, but that's preseason running backs. Who really knows how that translates into the regular season? We'll see. And JD McKisnick, he didn't show me a whole lot, not that I saw, but people have seen some good things. Maybe he showed more in practice, so we'll see what happens there. Personally, I hope Thomas Rawls stays healthy and takes the job because Thomas Rawls is one of those guys where you listen to him talk and it makes you feel like your entire body is on fire. It makes you want to go out there and hit someone. He has that way of speaking that just inspires you, and I love that in a guy. He is amazing. So my best to Thomas Rawls, but I think these guys are going to be a real powerful running back room, but I guess we'll see what happens in the season. For tight ends, we have exactly the same thing we had last year. We have Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, who may not be used as effectively as he was in New Orleans, but he is still a great target for Russell Wilson, and we will see what he can do going forward. Maybe this is the year that he finally breaks out, but here's hoping that he gets more touchdowns at least, because red zone targets is what we really want him for. Behind him, we have Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson has been here for a while. The Canadian wonder, who is just an interesting guy. He has a lot of ability on the field. He has a great chemistry with Russell, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. So with those two guys, I know what I'm getting basically, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. You have a lot of production that can be taken from those two tight ends, but the third man in the room is Nick Vannett, who was a rookie last year. It's his second year. He didn't show a whole lot last year. He had like 2 targets, 1 catch, I think, maybe 2 catches. Not a whole lot of sample size. Was inactive for most games. So we'll see how active he is now, if he is active at all. Maybe we see more. I hear that there's a lot of great ability from him in catching passes, but you don't know it till you see it, so we'll see what happens in a game. We also have a fullback position. That's a rare thing in the NFL these days. So we have Trey Madden, who plays fullback, and you know what? He's a fullback. He's the guy who runs in front of the running back. We'll see what happens. I think Marcel Reese is going to be the starting fullback on week 2 because they're just going to bring him back because Marcel Reese is really talented and catches the ball really well. I'm not going to say a whole bunch about it because it's fullback, so let's move on to the real juicy issue. Offensive line. I'm pretty damn sure I said this in the last recap, but the Seahawks offensive line is bad. It's pretty goddamn bad. So this year they added Luke Joeckel, who is a failed first-round left tackle who could be a really solid left guard. You know, that's fine. We have Justin Britt re-signed to a long extension. Justin Britt was the best offensive lineman by far on this line, so I'm excited to see him get paid. I think he can do a really good job for us. Reese Odeyambo as left tackle, so that's something. George Fant got injured, so we don't have George Fant for the season, which is unfortunate, but I really didn't know what I was getting out of George Fant, so I mean, how much did we really lose? Reese Odeyambo could maybe do his job. I don't know. With a lot of these offensive linemen, I'm not going to be able to say a whole bunch because there isn't a whole bunch of them playing together because most of this offensive line is either new or they've changed positions, so I really can't say much about how good they'll perform, just that they are here. At right tackle, we have Jermaine Ifedi, who was our right guard last year. I don't know much about how that's going to go down. I'm feeling comfortable about it a little bit because I'm not super confident in Jermaine Ifedi's ability at this moment. I would really love for him to prove me wrong, but at the moment, I haven't seen a whole lot, so we definitely will see how that goes. In right guard, we have Mark Lewinsky, who was our left guard last year. Mark Lewinsky did a really good job, really solid job as the left guard. I feel like he'll do a good job as the right guard, so I'm really confident with that. I am at least very confident in our guards and our center. I'm super confident in Justin Britt as the center. I think he'll do a great job. The guards, I think, are an improvement over last year. Lewinsky's probably going to do better at right guard than left guard, and Luke Joeckel is an upgrade over Glowinski himself. The tackles, we'll see what happens, but there's hope. And on that message of hope, let's move to the defense, who again look to be one of the strongest groups in all of the NFL. The Seahawks defense looks like murder, and I'm so excited to see them play. Let's start with the hot button topic and talk about Sheldon Richardson, who the Seahawks recently traded for ex-wide receiver Jermaine Kearse, who underperformed last year for us. And we got Sheldon Richardson, who is a Pro Bowl type defensive tackle. He is a force. The amount of excitement I feel over seeing him go against Aaron Rodgers week 1 is... it's just so nice. This defensive line looks like murder. In fact, they've already called themselves Death Row, because we have Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, Frank Clark, and goddamn Sheldon Richardson. These 4 guys are going to come after your quarterback. They are lethal, and I am so excited. Now with linebacker, we have a few new faces. We have Terrence Garvin and Michael Wilhoit, who I haven't seen a whole bunch of them play, but you know what? I'm very confident in them because they got two amazing linebackers next to them in Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright are two of the best linebackers in the NFL, especially as a tandem. They are incredible. I'm really excited to see them get back at it. They've been doing this for years. Bobby Wagner is incredible. So is KJ Wright. KJ Wright's underrated. He just got voted his first Pro Bowl last year, and I don't know how he didn't get into Pro Bowls before that. He's unstoppable, basically. But you know what? That doesn't matter. These two guys are going to be exactly what they were previously, and if that's the case, then they're going to be amazing because they're great players. So, yeah. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the LOB, the Legion of Boom. Now, with the Legion of Boom, we're going to start out with the All-Pros. We're going to talk about Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is coming off of a leg injury, which he threatened to retire over because he just really wasn't sure if he could come back from it. It looks like he has come back from it because he looks every bit as fast as he used to in preseason. He's like lightning. That man has an intensity and a focus to him that is just beyond anything I have ever heard of or seen. Richard Sherman, of course, he's the best. He's the best there is. He'll tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. Richard Sherman's the best. And of course, Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor, the strong safety, the hammer. Bam Bam Cam. Am I right, guys? Now, Bam Bam is going to light people up. Again, health is always a concern, especially with Cam. Cam has had some issues staying healthy for a full season because he just destroys people. He's a bruiser. So we'll see how healthy he can stay. He'll probably miss 1 or 2 games at least. If it's more than 6, then we have a problem. But you know what? He's doing a great job. And now for the right cornerback, we have Jeremy Lane currently as the starter, which I expect we'll see a lot of Shaquille Griffin, the rookie as well. Shaquille Griffin looks to be really impressive. I saw a little bit of him in preseason. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far. I think he'll do a really great job. We also have Jeremy Lane. I'm less confident with Jeremy Lane. I don't really know what he's going to be. In past years, I have sung his praises. I think he's a great cornerback, but last year he fell off a bit, and I couldn't say what that really is. I don't know the behind-the-scenes things, but if he gets back into form a little bit, this defense is going to be one of the most unbeatable in the league, especially with Earl Thomas, because Earl Thomas is the linchpin of this defense. No matter how good our defensive line is, no matter how great every other corner is, Earl Thomas, that man has the speed to get anything done. Briefly, I'm going to touch on special teams and basically just the punter and the place kicker. As a new place kicker, we have Blair Walsh, who most notably for me muffed a kick against the Seahawks when we played Minnesota in the playoffs, so that the Seahawks won that game, and he's already led to a crucial Seahawks victory, so you know what? That's good by my book. But Blair Walsh has a leg on him. I think that if he just gets over his mental issues, clear sailing, you know. I already miss Steven Hauschka, Hausch Money as they would call him, but he had a down year last year, and I'm not surprised that they moved away from him. But as for punters, we have the longest tenured Seahawk by far, which is John Ryan. John Ryan is the Seahawks punter, and the Ginger Ninja from Canada, that man knows how to punt a ball. Fun character. I really like John Ryan. Nothing to say about it. He's going to be great. He's John Ryan. He's a Pro Bowler. With that all said, that's basically the rundown of the team. Everyone looks great because this team is amazing. This team's probably going to go to the Super Bowl, but hey, let's just look at the schedule real quick, and I'll just give you some thoughts on some games coming up. I'm not going to give you a clear win percentage or who they'll win against. I'm just going to talk about the games I think are interesting this year. For bold predictions, I will say the Seahawks will finish first in the NFC West. They will have either the first seed or the second seed. I really hope the first seed. I want that 1 week bye and all games coming through home, but we'll see. I also think that they're going to win their opening game against Green Bay because fuck Aaron Rodgers. Am I right, guys? Am I right? I know I am. Let's move on. And we're going to talk about the games. Now, first one I want to bring up is the divisional games. Divisional games are always the most important ones, probably the most competitive games we have all season because these guys know us, these guys hate us, and we hate them too. And I really hate Bruce Arians, so we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. They are our biggest threat to controlling this division. They underperformed last year. Chris Carson, their starting quarterback, is getting old, and Bruce Arians, I don't think is as good of a coach as everyone says he is. He has more Coach of the Year awards than he does playoff wins, but you know what? Whatever. Pete Carroll doesn't have any, so you know what? How big of an indicator can it really be on the quality of a coach? So with the Cardinals, we're going to lose the game here. We're going to win the game away. It's going to be a contentious series, not a lot of scoring, or maybe a whole bunch of scoring. Or maybe the Seahawks blow them out both games. I don't care. Fuck the Cardinals. the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams back in Los Angeles because St. Louis just did not deserve an NFL team. They really didn't, guys. You know it. But with the LA Rams, the Rams have been a hard team for the Seahawks to beat for a few years now, basically since Jeff Fisher got there. But do you know who's not the coach of the Rams anymore? It's Jeff Fisher. So I feel like it's a very good sign that the Seahawks can sweep them this year. The Rams are always the most difficult play we have all season, basically. So if we could take care of the Rams both times pretty easily, I feel really good that it was just Jeff Fisher's Wicca curse against us. I think Jeff Fisher focused all of his attention on those Seahawks games. For some reason, I don't know. That's just where they always succeeded best. They played well to the lights. They did not play well to everyone else. So, whatever. And the San Francisco 49ers are a team... I revel so much in how bad they are now, and maybe they're going to be better with Kyle Shanahan. I don't really care. I hate the Niners. Oh well. Now, of course, the most interesting game for the Seahawks is their first game against the Packers. The Packers are probably the other powerhouse in the conference. The Atlanta Falcons, obviously, they went to the Super Bowl, so we got to keep an eye out for them. But they're in the NFC South, and the South tends to circle who is the top dog a lot. Maybe it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, finally. Who knows? But they also lost their offensive coordinator, so I really don't know how good the Falcons are going to be. I still worry about them because Dan Quinn, their coach, who is the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks in their Super Bowl years, he is a great coach, so you know what? They always have the potential to do something dangerous. So I'm also looking out for the Atlanta Falcons as well. But those two games, Atlanta and Green Bay, the Packers is an away game at Lambeau. At least it's not December in Lambeau. September, they're a little weaker, I think, at home. There's a good chance the Seahawks can beat them there. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's the best quarterback in the NFL next to Tom Brady. So it's going to be a hard game, but you know what? I feel confident in the Seahawks, as I'm going to say a lot. And the last game I want to talk about is probably the Seahawks versus the Colts. Really excited for Andrew Luck to come into Seattle and get whomped because I don't like Andrew Luck. Well, Andrew Luck, the person, is okay, but the mystique around Andrew Luck versus Russell Wilson is so tiring. Russell Wilson's better than Andrew Luck. Get over it, guys. It's just true. And I really hope that when he comes to Seattle, we can prove that to the rest of the world too, because, guys, it's been true for a long time. Russell Wilson, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Come on. All right, that's about all the games I really wanted to talk about. This video's gone on for a bit, but hey, thank you very much for watching. The Seahawks are going to kick some ass this season because I know they will, because they always do. Let's hope it ends in the Super Bowl run again. You'll see my hair grow out over the season and me pulling on it a bit as they give me heart attacks every single game, as they always do, because this team is crazy. So thank you very much for watching, and go Hawks!